finances. Joining me now, Democratic Congresswoman Karen Bass of Los Angeles, California. I'm proud to say she is the new chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, also a member of the Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. It's always good to speak with you. And
thank you.
I do want to get your reaction to the newly elected Representative Tlaib's comments there. Do you think that kind of rhetoric is appropriate for a member of the House? She just says, I'm being real, I'm being me.
Well, she's being real, she's being her, but our new members need to realize that there can always be somebody photographing you no matter where you are. And my major concern about it is that it's such a distraction. So much time is being spent talking about what she said today versus the fact that this week people are not going to receive their paychecks. 800,000 federal workers won't be paid. I know when I go to the airport, I apologize to the TSA workers because I feel bad. I know how hard they work protecting us. They're not going to be paid this week. I don't think there should be anything distracting us away from that. That's the #1 issue.
How concerned are you this is going to drag on, this partial government shutdown for these 800,000 federal workers?
Well, I am concerned because, and all of us are, because the president is completely unpredictable. We literally have to follow Twitter to find out what he's thinking at any moment. His latest scenario of, I'm going to declare a national emergency, you know, who knows what he is really going to do. And we do have to remember a couple of things. #1, he agreed to the bill that we voted on this week, the bill that was voted out unanimously out of the Senate. He agreed to that until talk radio hit him. The other thing that we have to remember is that why are taxpayers paying $1 for this wall? Mexico is supposed to pay for the wall. Mexico has a new president. He needs to be flying down to Mexico today and negotiating with that president. U.S. taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook for $1. That was his campaign promise, not that we would be paying for it.
All right, I want to go back to the prospect of impeachment with you because certainly the comments by Representative Tlaib brought that to light once again. I want to play for you what Donald Trump himself had to say yesterday about this. Take a listen to this.
I think it's very hard to impeach somebody who's done a great job. That's #1. And we even talked about that today. I said, why don't you use this for impeachment? And Nancy said, we're not looking to impeach you. I said, that's good, Nancy, that's good. But you know what? You don't impeach people when they're doing a good job. And you don't impeach people when there was no collusion, because there was no collusion.
Just got to ask you how you respond to that.
Well, I mean, I have to chuckle. I think it sounds silly. I'm not even sure that he understands what the impeachment process is all about to begin with. And I don't believe he's done a very good job. And I think that the percentage of Americans that actually support him is dwindling. Now, having said that, I do not think that impeachment should be top on our agenda. After we get the government opened back, we need to deal with health care. I was reading an article this week about this mother who lost her son because he couldn't afford to pay for his insulin. He was parsing his insulin out, and he moved out, and he died alone. He went into insulin shock. That should never happen in the United States. We need to deal with the Affordable Care Act, the fact that the Republicans could not repeal it. So what they did over the last few years was death by a million cuts. We need to take care of that. We need the Voting Rights Act. There's so much business in front of us right now. And unfortunately, the president keeps us tied up in nonsense. And the government should have never shut down in the first place.
Does that include, with what the president keeps you tied up in, the numerous investigations? I mean, you're a member of the House Judiciary Committee.
Yes.
How does this new Congress, and how does this impact, rather, the new Congress, all these ongoing investigations? Will you not be able to focus on those things that you were just outlining? I mean, is it going to be an investigation-heavy Congress?
Well, no, I think what is going to happen is we are actually going to do our job. And one of our jobs is to provide oversight. For the last 2 years, there has been no oversight to this president at all. And so there might be 14 or 15 different investigations going on, but Congress needs to provide oversight. So on judiciary, even on foreign affairs, the world doesn't understand what this man's foreign policy is. We don't even have ambassadors to some of the most important countries. While he's off negotiating with the North Koreans, he doesn't even take time to propose an ambassador to South Korea. So there is so much work that has been left undone. But I'm completely convinced that the energy of this new Congress, we will be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We will be able to provide the oversight as well as do the work that needs to be done, whether it's health care, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's Voting Rights Act. We have a very full agenda, but we're ready to go.
Yeah, listen, coincidentally, you talk about the president's foreign policy. I'm going to be talking about that with a couple of experts at the end of this hour because, to your point, a lot of people are unclear on where he stands on things. I do want to talk about the speaker's outlining of a bipartisan vision for the next couple of years. Look, it's day 15 of a government shutdown, no end in sight, and I have to say I was somewhat dismayed as she was speaking while taking the gavel and speaking on Thursday, and there didn't seem to be one Republican who applauded one word that she said. It was clearly a very partisan floor there of Congress once again. Are Democrats going to be able to work with a president like Donald Trump?
Well, I think on swearing-in day, I think that my Republican colleagues were feeling rather depressed. But I think that we are going to look for ways for bipartisan solutions. As a matter of fact, right before the government shut down, there was the bipartisan solution on criminal justice reform, and he did sign that bill. One thing that we're not going to do, we're not going to do what McConnell pledged to do when Obama was elected, which is we are going to not cooperate with this president on anything at all. Our primary purpose is to work for the people. The people do not want us to do nothing. They want us to get things accomplished, and we are going to look for bipartisan solutions. I just hope that at some point this president stabilizes and we can actually predict what he is going to do, what his decisions are going to be.
And Democratic Congressman Karen Bass of California, good to start the year off with a discussion with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Coming